same. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree. Part of you and part of me. And if we should separate, go your own way, I won't wait.
Bring the funk back.
We're back. Hopefully my volume is working. I think I've unmuted it, and we're back for another week. So give a big shout out. There's a heap of people on. Don't forget to put your postcodes in. Postcode Prize this week is a bit of a bass pack. We've got some power baits. We've got some smaller plastics. There's a couple of micro vibes there and a couple of hard bodies as well. So pretty cool pack. Just put your postcode in. You'll win that one drawn out later on. You do have to be on air when we announce the postcode winner. You have to tell me you're still on air to win it. So put your postcodes in. That's as easy as it is to do that. We're going through. Let's have a look who's on. Sean, g'day, mate. Hope you're feeling better. Shane, I will see you tomorrow. We got Nathan. We got Luke. We got Danny. Colin, Ryan, Trent, Chris, yeah, heaps of people on, and names keep coming through. G'day, James. All right. Big show, as I said, big announcements to go out tonight, and there's probably a few different ways I'll do these announcements. But the show is all about Alloycraft Brand Ambassador Kevin Beams is on to talk about co-boating. Now, we'll separate that into sort of two categories for you tonight. We will talk directly about the ABT style co-boating where you get billeted out on a boat, and we'll also talk about just co-boating in general, which means going out on a boat with somebody else, whether it be socially or in a comp situation, teams or singles events. So we'll answer any of your questions. You've got them in for that one as well. Danny's put in there the Cod Dog Lure packs last week. Yeah, it was a great package. Everything that I sent out was really, really cool. So I'm glad you enjoyed that that pack, Danny. Which I have to give a big shout out to everyone that donated to the show. Last week, we raised $2,120 for fishermen in the flood-stricken areas of Lismore, and that money has been transferred over to Bill Latimer. Our Alloycraft brand ambassador is going to deliver that cash directly to 4 lucky fishermen, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get some photos to show you who actually got the funds. So, yeah, can't thank you enough for all donating. We will run another one in a couple of weeks' time to try and raise some money for some more like-minded fishermen up in that flood zone up there that are still going through a whole heap of terrible stuff. Still going on the intro. It's a big, long intro tonight. Central Victorian Lure Casters Super Series. 9 o'clock tomorrow night is the briefing at the Bundalong Tavern. You can catch me there. I'll try and do as many live streams over the weekend as I can remember to without cutting into my fishing time. So I will get some information out to you, or as much as I can, for the Central Victorian Lure Casters Super Series, which starts this weekend. It's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a skin style event, so you win per session. Really enjoy this one. So looking forward to that one and catching up with everyone there. Anyone that is going to that comp, drive safely, and I shall catch you tomorrow night. The teams fishing Australia, the big one at Mulwala at the end of the month. Don't forget that Easter Monday will be the last day you can put your entries in. I've been told no exception. So there's still a couple of spots left for that. That's big prize money. We fished it last year. Very, very enjoyable comp. So if you're going to get your name in for the teams fishing Australia, entries do close on Easter Monday, and that's when pre-fish starts. So you can't fish after you can't fish after Easter Monday. The pre-fish ban has started for that one, I believe. All right. So before I get Kev on, who is going to talk to us and answer some questions, I've got some questions for Kev about co-boating. Before I get him on, I've got to talk about the big announcement that I wanted to do tonight. The big announcement, obviously, as I said at the start of the show, was we are running another Alloycraft Brand Ambassadors Apprentice Series this year. And we've been promising it for a long time since we started. We started off with the Opens during COVID. We were lucky enough to do the juniors last year, and Brad gave 3 boats away, which is really, really cool. And this year we are going to do a ladies brand ambassadors program. So anyone in Australia can win this, and the details will go up on our Facebook group, which I will bring up on the screen here so you can see it, and I will solo that. So you'll see here that it is called the Ellicraft Brand Ambassadors Apprenticeship Group. You have to join that, be accepted to that one, and then we go from there. All right. So that's what have we done here? I have no idea what I'm doing with the computer here. So that's the Ellicraft Brand Ambassadors Apprenticeship Program. And if you're a lady, join that group, watch what's going on. This is the pre-release. We'll get all the details going forward. We'll go through that group. Will be announced on the show, but there will be another boat up for grabs. Obviously, Bill's enjoyed his, and the new boys are going to be enjoying theirs for the electric series this year. So lots to learn about. I'm going to quiz Kev on the program as we go through. He was unfortunately come in second place at the inaugural Opens, and we want to see how he's gone along the journey of that whole program to answer any questions for any of the ladies out there that are going to join in. All right, I'm just looking through to see if there's any early questions. Yeah, new hair, look at that. Thanks, Ginbo. Yep, all good. Stephen's on, Dave. One question. All right, Dave's got a question as well. All right, so I'll just make sure that I've gone through everything. I've given the shout out to everyone for the raising the money. Central Victorian Lure Teams Fishing Australia, Ladies Ambassadors Program will be up and running in the next few weeks, and will lead into how it all goes from there. So just keep an eye on that group. But we did advertise that we are going to talk about co-boating. So I'm going to get the man on himself, and we're going to talk about. We'll do an introduction, and we'll talk about everything co-boating or everything fishing. G'day, Kev. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. So this is the first time you've sort of come back. Really, you started the program. You come on as a guest late last year, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. You were really nervous. I think you've learnt through the program that this is quite easy to get up and talk in public. It's stressful, but it can be done. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me again. It's good. It's good. Third time, I think, now. So yeah,
yep.
Must be doing something half right.
That's it. Must be doing something half right is probably the truth. You do a lot of work behind the scenes. You help out with. You've helped out with me. I had a bit of a mental health break for a few weeks there with the group. You took over and led in with that. So that was really cool, and I do thank you for that. And publicly, people don't see what happens behind the scenes. So yeah, just thank you so much for that. We've got time for you guys to continue to ask your questions in the group. But I've just got to flick a couple of buttons here, Kev, so I'll get me questions up so I remember them all.
Too easy.
Obviously, as I said, we wanted to talk about co-boating, and we'll try and separate it into that scenario where we talk. Co-boater can be anything. It can be just when you go out in somebody else's boat, whether you're going out socially or whether you're fishing in a comp with somebody else as individuals, whether you're fishing in a comp as a team member, or in the ABT scenario where you actually get billeted with a boater. So, and you've had a bit of experience with all of it. So that's why I wanted to get you on. Obviously, part of your role in the Ambassadors program is to help out with the group. So I wanted to get you on and have a bit of a chat about it. So the first question I want to ask you straight up, which actually has already been asked in the questions. So I'm going to bring it up. Trent's asked the question, so I'll bring it up. What's your favourite aspect of co-boating?
Well, I'd probably have to say it's the chance that you actually get with the co-boating. I'll use ABT as the prime example. The opportunity to fish with a pro for $150 for 2 days, or 3 if you're lucky enough to get a pre-fish day with someone, is priceless. It is worth every little bit of that $150 for what you learn in that period of time. It is crazy, absolutely crazy. So that would definitely be my number one, is just what you learn by just being around people like that.
Yep, awesome question, Trent. Thank you very much for that one. That is definitely right. So going into that whole situation, you fished solo for many years out of the kayak. You've jumped onto the back of a boat in both ABT, bass and brim events. Now, this is a big controversial question that I want to throw out there.
Well, I know what you're going to say too. I know it. I know it already.
I'm a bass boy, so did you find it different being a co-boater in the ABT Brim series to what you did in the bass series?
For me, I'd have to say yes, mainly just because I hadn't done a hell of a lot of bassing. So, you and I have done a little bit together as well. But, brim's less like my bread and butter. I've been used to doing it. I've done it for many years. So just I felt a lot more relaxed going into that, knowing what I was doing that little bit more. Like if you go back through the, what do you call it? The Bluefin fishing team where I actually wrote about it. I'm not the most confident person out there, so I always very judgmental of myself. You and I have had this discussion as well about, you take a photo of yourself or a group of people, you always look at yourself first. You're always critiquing yourself as the number one, and if you have a bad comp, you've seen how shitty I get. If I have a bad comp or a bad day, you've copped it. You've copped the wrath of Kev and a cranky Kev. So, you know exactly what that's like. Yeah, look, I did feel more comfortable doing the brim at the start, mainly because I also got bigger fish and better fish, and in the end, it was a better outcome. I finished my first top 10 in my first event, so I felt at home. Where the bass stuff, I'm still treading water. I'm like that duck. I'm flicking my legs everywhere trying to keep afloat. I might look cool and calm on top, but I'm really not.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I did get to pre-fish with you for both Blue Rock and Glen Maggie. And yes, you are a very calm and collected looking person from the outside, but through conversation on the boat, we could work out stuff was going wrong to the extent I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it would have been Glen Maggie. You actually put in a random cast around an electric fence. Tell us a little bit about that story. We're waiting for a few questions to come through.
Oh, God. So, I came up with a great idea, which I told you is on the map system for Glen Maggie on a lot of the your GPS sounder systems didn't have this creek that ran up the back of one of the arms. So I said, let's go venture up there. I've heard there's fish up there from talking to a few people months before the comp. Let's go up there. So we get a fair way up there and we're casting away. And I think this is day 5 or 6, because I've done the brim comps, then done Blue Rock. So yeah, it must have been 5, day 5. So I was pretty tired and I was already a bit cranky because Blue Rock didn't particularly go my way to start with. So we're coming along and we come up to this bridge and I've launched this cast. I think from memory, the sun was sort of half in my eyes. Well, I'm going to use that excuse anyway, but I've given it a flick. And as I've flicked it, there's an electric fence that runs across the bridge from one side of the paddocks on the left to the right. And my lure's gone up and looped over it 3 or 4 times. And then I've gone to give it a tug and there's been enough water on the line that I gave me a little boot off the finger. So I think I said to you after I managed to somehow pull it light enough to get it unraveled and then flick off without me having to touch it again. I think I said, I think it's time to take up golf.
Yep. And you were done. You were going to take up golf, but you went it through. And as I said, we're just waiting on a few questions to come through. We'll keep going through my questions. I'm looking at the questions as they come through. Another good one here from Danny, or Fish On, as he's got here. He's written, hey, Kev, what's the best thing you've learnt as a co-boater?
Dan, what would be the best? You know what? I get the concept of gulping, all right, and I've done a bit with Cap, but I had 2 very good gulping boaters on 2 of the days of the comps, and just the technique, how you just think it's just winding it up and down, but it's literally not just winding it up and down and dropping it. There's so much variety in what you're doing. I had Coney on day 2 at Glen Maggie when he got that bloody, the winning fish for the day. Well, he was already winning anyway, but, getting that big fish and just having to be so particular, learning the reel size that he was using on that day. He was using a 3,000 size reel. I'm trying to mimic what he's doing up the front, and I've only got a 2.5 size reel, so we're actually winding at different speeds for a start. His jig head was heavier than mine. The way he cuts the tails down is different to what I do. Some people cut them from the outside, other people cut them from the inside. So that was probably my biggest thing I learnt overall, because 2 of the days, both of my boaters were gulping, and they were in top 4 positions all the way through.
Yep, Coney's actually giving you a shout out there in the comments. He said, thanks, Kev, for making lunch at Glen Maggie.
Well, at least you didn't get sick. That's a good thing.
So, I mean, that's one of the hard scenarios. We'll talk gulping, co-boating. There's a couple other questions in there that we'll talk about. But in that situation, there's a lot of things that can go wrong for a co-boater. You would have maybe, guys that follow me would have seen some of the footage of the teams fishing at Windermere, where we actually had 3 guys on the front of my boat poking rods down the front. We were fishing a teams comp. Whereas in a co-boater situation, most of the time you're stuck on the back of the boat, and it's not that often that you'll get invited up to the front of the boat, but sometimes you do. Very hard to do that from the back of the boat in that situation. It's like river fishing when you're running parallel to the bank and you're casting forward. There's not a lot left for you to fish in. How do you deal with that mentally? Did you use that as a learning experience to just really, like an eagle, watch Coney up the front in that situation?
Yeah, well, look, Coney's a pro. There's no doubt about that. And I felt intense just being there because, being in the top position, you feel the pressure of their pressure. And I'll talk about the brim one later on as well. So I spent a lot of time quiet. Sorry, Coney, you're probably hearing crickets most of the time because I just wanted him to zone in and do his thing, and you just want to do that. But, it is harder from the back of the boat, like unless you're dropping the same jig at the same weight at the same time, like he might want to fish one point and then he wants to shoot off to the next, so, and we were fishing single trees in different spots, just moving around here, there, everywhere. You've either got to try and time it or cast in front. So you're sort of sinking at the same time as he's going along because you can't read his mind. He's not going, I'm going to cast this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. But you take that opportunity to learn and watch every little single bit that he's doing, every little mind game even, like it took balls of steel to sit in one area in the deep, going around from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree, looking for one or two big, huge fish versus running the bank, which I did mention probably more than once. I'm surprised he didn't push me over. Because I think on day one I was sitting in 6th after Glen Maggie. So I was like, I just need a bag of something. But if something hits here, we're in for it and we know we're up there. But, that was balls of steel to stay out there from pretty much the whole time. The whole time we're in the one area just popping around, going around. The fish were darting everywhere.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly last week on the show, how I couldn't do it, but Coney, being the experienced angler that he is, he knew that all he needed was, he was on big fish, he'd get one bite eventually, which was really, really cool. All right, look, we've got heaps of questions coming in, so that's awesome. I will try and get through as many as I can because we are sort of limited by times, but the El Capitano, the boss man's on there. So he's written, is there any co-boater etiquette that you follow, or is it up to each boater on the day?
Look, I have mine, and I probably learned a little bit. I'm going to do a bit of a plug here for Byron T. Hill, who you might have seen on Facebook, on YouTube and things as well. He's done one on co-boating as well, and that's where I sort of first learned a little bit about it. There is definitely an etiquette that I do when I go out. As Coney's already mentioned, I always bring the boys lunch. I think that's just one little thing. In the end, they've spent a lot more money than we have to be able to compete in this event. And yes, there's a chance of money, but it's not guaranteed. There's only money for the top 9 or 10, if you're lucky, depending on how many people are actually in the competitions. So I try and give fuel money where I can if they're interested in taking it. I definitely think shoes-wise, you've got to be very careful what you're trotting in, especially like places like Glen Maggie where, it was pretty sandy and gritty and grotty. So, for instance, on, it wasn't Coney's boat, but on Bryce's boat. Was it Bryce's boat he borrowed? Yep. I made sure I had to change of shoes. So I wore, I think, thongs up there. And because I'd been like burnt after like 4 or 5 days of fishing, I wore sneakers on the actual boat. So I actually changed my shoes and stuck them in my bag. You don't want to dirty up everything. You don't want to be leaving your lures everywhere. Don't take too many rods. That's another big one. Unless they've got space for them, I asked the question. Even the style of fishing can help because you really do need to trim down how much you're taking. If Brandon Scott's on today, I haven't seen him. His tackle bag he took out that I saw at Glen Maggie was smaller than my lunchbox. It was tiny, and that was perfect. You don't need a hell of a lot of gear if you know what style of fishing or what you're doing. You don't need to pack, like my bag was probably the size of a sports bag. So, it was probably a little bit too big for what I really would have wanted to have taken.
But it's communicating with your boater, and
100%.
if you can make an impression on your boater straight away, and your boater can trust you, there is a big thing of trust. If they're going to tell you what they're throwing, they want to trust in you that you're not going to go back to your campsite.
Correct.
You and I camp together.
Yep.
You're going out with Coney, and then you come back to me and go, "Oh, Coney's throwing this tomorrow." That's a no-no. That's a
100%.
a really big no-no. So you got to earn that trust, obviously, over a period of time. And then people like that I used to love, long-term co-boaters when Brady Hyde was doing it. You knew that straight away he had the trust of everyone throughout the group. So he'd worked that up over a long period of time. Just going back onto your talking about the sand and the grit, I have had people come up to me, and it's not so much an issue now with the Bass Pro because I'm only doing 70, 80 Ks an hour. But when I had the Nitro doing that sort of $120, sand really hurts.
Yeah.
So any of that shit that you bring on the front of the boat, people say, oh, it's only a boat. But there's a reason behind it. So all that sand that you track on at the front of the boat, when you take off at the start line, it's like going through a sandblaster when you've got all that sand hitting you in the face. I mean, I've ruined sunglasses with it, So there are other reasons why you need to sort of think into that sort of thing for sure.
And definitely just ask if there's anything as well. Like I said at the start to Coney, is there any rules or anything that goes with this boat or with you fishing? People don't like to be casting over each other. Yep. I'll use an example. I heard one angler had cast over Mick Johnson. He just turned to me and went, no. No, you don't cast over the top of each other, especially when you're working a bank, unless they say it's okay to. They've all got their rules and there's obviously reasons for it.
Oh, and everyone's different. So communicating is the key. I mean, quite often I'll have a cowie sitting on the front deck with me, but then they might get off the boat, go on with somebody else, and they jump up on the front deck. Yeah. And the boater does exactly what Mick does within his ride. He's just turning around and going, no. That's it. Yep. So you've got to communicate with your boater to get along with it. And that also happens socially too, because when you go out with a mate, if you don't communicate with your mate, you don't know what's expected of you, whether it's backing the trailer down, whether it's putting in for fuel money, all that social things. I've seen friendships end over fishing trips because they didn't communicate and say, well, especially when I used to fish a lot outside of Brisbane, it'd be $200 worth of fuel for the day. All your mates would jump on board and then they get back, you jump on the jetty and go home. Yeah. And you've got to clean the boat and do all the stuff and refuel. And you're like, this is costing me money and they're getting a free trip.
That's it.
Exactly right. Yeah, just a big communication. Bill's got a question here for you. Papa Kev, would there be anything you would do different now that you have co-boated a few times?
Do it earlier? That would be problem number one. Yeah, it took me 5 years to actually get in and get the confidence, which wouldn't have come if it wasn't for this group, because this group's very supportive. Yeah, 5 years it took me to get to this first ABT event. That's how long I've been sitting there watching it online or seeing the results and just following along. Mainly it was Brim, and especially at Meetung, the Gippsland Lakes round. I watched it. That's my local. And it's taken me 5 years to get there. That's the only thing I'd probably say is I would done it quicker.
Yeah, and for sure, I've said it all the way through since I started this show. I wish I'd found tournament fishing many, many years ago because of the fact of, one, my body would be a hell of a lot better than playing footy until I was 40. And two, I would have been able to do more stuff within the industry because I was a lot younger. I am now, considered, I should be called Papa Kev, really, because I'm the oldest of the group. So, thanks for that question, Bill. All right, we've got a couple of good ones. One going on to that, which you sort of answered then, but Barry Kelly's written, hey, Kev, do you wish you'd started earlier as a co-boater? So,
I sort of wish, like, even if it was 16, 17, that sort of age, I wish I'd sort of really got into it, because even just the knowledge level that I would have now would just be tenfolds more than where I am now. I'm still 100% novice. I wouldn't, I think I was talking to actually Bill about this the other day. Like playing golf, I'm like a -30. Cap, you're like a -10. Langers is at par. That's the sort of levels, that we're sort of going back to the old golf again. But, my knowledge is just increasing every time we do one of these events. Whether it is a teams event, like I've never fished for cod. We did my whaler last year. Learned a lot. Learned a hell of a lot for a fish that I've never caught. Still haven't caught, by the way, but I do know how to get out a good bird's nest. I can tell you that. That's
Yes,
for sure.
yes. Very patient you are.
Very. I had no choice. I had no line left on that reel, so it was either cut off and sit there, or sit there and work it out. So at least I could keep fishing and possibly maybe a fish of 1,000 casts to get one.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, another question. It's sort of a longer one, but we'll go through it. It's from Luke, obviously, who you know who's camped with us down at Blue Rock and Glen Maggie. He said, hey,
Yep.
Kev, we spoke about this, but co-boating isn't always about jumping on the boat. Tell us about how you help out your pros on the water. And he's saying, for an example, like boat ramps and stuff like that. So,
yeah. So obviously, it is not just on the boat. Now, if you're not confident in this, you just explain that you're not confident in it. If you're not, if you can't back a trailer, don't try it first time at an event. It's not the way to go. But yeah, definitely doing little things like helping park your boater's car once that's in the water. I said I always do the lunch thing, a bit of money there. But yeah, mainly the backing of the boats if you're confident enough, which I'm not super confident, so I wasn't going to go and go down that path, especially with the amount of money these people have spent. But I am spending a lot more time practicing and learning that, because it is something I think that's fairly important that I can help more. They're probably the main things that I've done to help. On the water, this is a different one, but I'll go from it now. At the Gippsland Lakes round on day 2, my boater was in 4th position and was really struggling to get a fish that day. Well, not struggling, sorry, but I was smashing it. I was getting a lot more than what he was getting, and it had to do with this profile of this one particular lure. It was just the size of the lure. I had the exact same colours, but I was braining them. So what I did in the end is I said, mate, you use this, I'll use another colour. And then I let him have that lure, and he caught half a dozen fish, and then ended up handing it back to me later because of a bit of a sad story. The old AVT app, make sure you take photos of your fish before, on your camera reel. Don't just wait for it to upload and throw your prized 1.7 kilo fish over the side before it's loaded, because he lost a doozy, and he would have been probably 1st or 2nd with that fish. So so that lure, I'll give you an example because I actually do have them here. So most of you will know the spike, Daiwa spike, which is that one there. So that's the profile. Now, down here in Gippsland, that is a very good upgrading from black brim, that size lure. So Daiwa not long ago brought out the baby version of this, called the Spike 44. So in comparison in size, it's not working great. There you go. You can see the profile's a lot shorter and stubbier, and nowhere near the length of the two. So obviously the size of the prawns at the time that were in that lake were more this size. So they were smashing this particular lure, just being slow rolled along the bottom. And I actually had to write to Daiwa thank him for that lure, because there's no way in hell I would have even been in the top 10 without that lure. Not a chance in hell.
That's awesome. That's really cool feedback. So thanks, Luke, for that question. We've got a couple more here that relevant ones, and comes back to communication. But Barry's asked, hey, Kev, do you wish you'd... sorry, that was the wrong one. It was Barry here. How many rods do you limit yourself to, and do you limit the tackle as you take on as a co-boater? So we've sort of answered this a little bit, but because people are asking the questions, we want to keep them sort of rolling through.
Sure. So I always ask the question. It depends on the style of fishing that we'll be doing on the day. On a pre-fish day with Cap, I took out 6 rods, 5 or 6, depending. I know they're definitely on... definitely 6 on day 1 of the brim, 3 on day 2. And I took 3 all the way through the bass ones once we'd done the pre-fish. So cut the range right back. But it really depends on the boat. Mick Johnson was borrowing a smaller size boat, so there wasn't a lot of room for rods, but other boats had plenty of space. I could have taken twice as many, no problems. no problems at all. So it really just depends on who you end up getting as a boater.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you need to leave your options open. You know,
Yep.
you might, some things change on the day. As far as tackle goes, 2 and a bit trays. I usually use sort of that size tray. That's usually enough, 2 of them.
Couple of each. Yep.
Yep. I take more food than lures.
Yeah. Bo's asking, after doing your first ABT double header round in Victoria, what was the biggest thing you learned from the week-long event? Not just about fishing, but about yourself and tournament fishing in general. So, you not only did the 2 bass rounds, you also did an ABT brim round there as well. So
all back to back, no break. Yeah,
no break. It was a long period of time. How did you find it? Firstly,
make sure you wear sunscreen every day, and maybe thongs is not the best option for shoes either for every day. They're probably the 2 things I got away. I had the wickedest thong tan on my feet. It was ridiculous. By the time we got to Coney's, as I said, I had to wear shoes because my feet were getting sore from the sun. So definitely make sure slip, slop, slap. And if you're in part of the Bluefin team, you'll see Bill's post from last week talking about sun protection. Get on it. Yeah, definitely do it. It is tiring. It's surprising how fatiguing that many days of fishing in a row is. And hats off to those guys that can zone in 100% all that time. It's crazy. You can see some of the guys taking supplements to help with that as well, help with the hydration, help with concentration. It's it's just crazy because it is long days on the water. The elements do get to you as well, and it can be tough. That many days in a row was just nuts. I like that they're all obviously close by. Well, put it this way, the Gippsland rounds were. You were Blue Rock to Glen Maggie is probably about 40 to 50 minutes max. So you didn't have to do a lot of traveling time to get from A to B. So I found that pretty good. That wasn't a problem. And the only thing it sucked for me is I sort of missed a lot of the campsite stuff because I had to go home. I've got a young one. I went home every day after each of the comps to back to my family, where it would have been really cool to sit around like camping with Cap and Langers and Mick and Coney and all the boys were there. And I felt like I did miss a bit there where you actually probably create a very good bond with those guys. And because you're all traveling and end up camping again next time at the next event, you've already that step further. So I really do feel like I missed a chance to connect with the other guys a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a few more questions there, but I've got to draw the postcode prize for tonight. Now, the postcode prize, as I said, was a little pack there, and tonight it is Jamie Beer 3644. So these come out at random. Jamie Beer 3644. You need to tell us that you're still on watching, Jamie. Otherwise, I'll redraw it later on. So that's the first of the prizes. We do have Harry's box going on later on here. So we'll get to some more questions there, but I have one big question here for you, Kev. I suppose in the sense of you've jumped in and you've watched from a distance for a long time, and then you jumped in and had a go at the Alloycraft Brand Ambassadors program. Unfortunately, you didn't win the boat. You come second, and damn Bill. So you've come second. You've learned, but you're stuck with the program, and you worked through the program. How have you found the program itself for people like the ladies and the kids that have just joined? How have you found the whole apprenticeship program as a whole?
Yeah, sure. So, like I sort of said originally back in the interview, I wanted to grow myself, my brand, and obviously this profile of this great sport. I love this tournament fishing. It's fantastic. So whatever I can do, this is actually giving me a chance to actually sort of work on a particular area and sort of help grow this program that we're doing. We've done some pretty cool stuff now. Like if you've seen any of our videos with the video we did with Malwala, we've started having chats with some of the top pros and getting advice off them, which has been priceless. We had Dane on last week. That was amazing. Well, it was actually not even last week, earlier this week. That was amazing. And I thank you again, Dane, for coming and giving us the time of day. We've we've got a lot going on. We've got sponsors jumping on board now, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. We've got a great group of people. They all chip in, do their part. If you haven't seen the Bluefin Fishing Team page, have a look at the articles we're now writing. We're teaching each other stuff constantly, all the time. And it's just amazing. Yeah, it's just a good group of people, and I love it.
And for anyone that's in the comments that wants to learn stuff about fishing, that's what we've designed the Bluefin Fishing Team Facebook
100%.
page. Go on, hit a like up, and you'll get the topics are coming through. We've got none of us are experts, but we're learning as we go and writing articles about specific items, and then we're getting specific people in to chat to us, to teach us about that sort of thing. As we had Dane in on Monday night having a bit of a chat, we were talking football jigs. I learned so much out of it myself. So the program itself has been awesome. Do you think at any stage you would, go from a co-boater to a boater? Oh,
definitely. If I won Tatsalotto tomorrow, I'd be there.
Yep.
I'd already have it. I'd be happening. I'd import it already. I wouldn't be waiting for a ship. I'll have my own ship bring it over. I don't care if I win the money. But I definitely would love to. It's just a matter of I've got a young family. It is costly. I've just bought a house. All these things that were on that on my original. What are you going to do in 12 months, 3 years, or 5 and 10? I can't remember what we had originally. I've done most of those things now. Like, I've started a family. My work-life balance has got better. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but it is better. I've bought a house. I've crossed some things off my list. I've done the bass event. I wanted to do a bass event. I've done it. The boat is definitely on the list. I've got to deal with horses first. I don't know if I can show you if it'll even show up, but the missus has just bought the young one a couple of little ponies. So I don't know if I'm going to have any much luck at getting anything happening anytime soon. I'll have to see if I can find it.
No, while you're looking for that, so the program itself, we've talked about it a few times, but Bill Latimer, who actually pipped you to the post in the first series, he obviously got the use of the boat, and he's just about at the end of his. Show us up there. There you go.
See it there? Yep, there we go. So
horses cost more than fishing. I swear to God,
they do. They do. Stay away from horsey girls, boys.
Yeah,
stay away.
So Bill's just about at the end of his time, and he's used his work-life balance and situation to actually upgrade, and he's put in his purchase for his first bass boat.
So cool.
And it's very cool that he's staying within the realms of the group, learnt through the group, but he's actually buying a Bass Pro 498, exactly the same as my boat, and he's stepping up into that. He's put the orders all through this week, the motor orders and electronics, and stepping up to the next level, which has sort of left a bit of a hole in the sense that Brad and I have been talking this week about Bill's boat. So we were always going to put it back out into the program and run the program again, throw Bill's boat into that situation. But there has sort of been one member of the team that has stood out for such a long period of time and really put in some hectic work behind the scenes. So Brad and I have decided that that person is going to get Bill's boat when he's finished with it and become the Alloycraft brand ambassador himself. We are hiring within the group. We are not actually going outside the group. And it's you.
What? Really?
Yes.
Bullshit.
No.
Holy shit. Wow. Well, thanks, guys.
So, yes, we've been Brad and I have been working on this behind the scene for weeks now, and I'll give you some time to contemplate what I've just told you.
Yes.
We've been talking behind the scenes for weeks now. You've been the one that didn't get rewarded through the first and put in the most amount of work through the whole last 2-year period. You've helped everyone out. You've been really relabeled within the group Papa Kev. Everyone sort of turns to you for information when they've got the shits with me. And we were going to put the boat out after, Bill was finished to do another run of the apprenticeship program. But like any big company that's got a star employee, you've got to really reward them. And, the reaction of Bill 2 years ago was priceless, but I think we've just beaten it, Kev.
That was so unexpected. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Brad. Thanks. I don't know what to say.
I know, and it's
you
cool.
Prick, you could have let me know, so I could have been prepared.
I didn't want to let you know. I wanted to get the reaction. Obviously, it means so much to you. You're starting a young family and everything else. We've got many details that we'll talk about off air about how it all works and how it all goes forward. But I cannot say reward for effort needs to be justified, and your effort over the last 2 years pretty much has been priceless. And for me, in general, has been, I can't thank you enough. It's been awesome. And as I said, it'll be a little while down the track. Bill's obviously got to finish with the boat.
Yeah.
But you are going to be rewarded with a new contract to be the Bluefin brand ambassador in the boat. And Bill's stepping up to be an ambassador as a 498 Pro. So, I know you're speechless, but the comments are coming in.
Shit.
It's heartwarming to see what everyone's saying in here, mate. It's there for you.
Holy shit! I don't know. You're gonna probably have to censor this. You'll probably get kicked off shortly.
I am so happy that that's the reaction, because you really, really do deserve it. Brad's obviously in there watching. We've sort of teed this up. Bill has helped me out. We've been trying to keep this secret for a long, long time now, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of finished off tonight with I've got Harry's wheel. I'm going to give you time to go and talk to your family. I'm going to invite Harry out here, and we'll do Harry's box. I called it Harry's wheel from last year. We'll do Harry's box. We'll announce who we're going to give that to, and I'll let you go and talk to the fam, and we'll come back and finish off with a few last questions and give you a bit of time to have a breather, all right?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to need it. I need to pick my jaw off the floor. So, give me a moment.
For sure. So you jump out. I'm going to put you in the green room. You jump out and have a bit of a breather. Harry's going to shoot in and see me now, and we're going to draw Harry's wheel, of course. So going back through the earlier questions, there was plenty of really, really cool questions, and I enjoyed every one of them. I still haven't seen Jamie Beer back on to tell me that he wanted the Postcode Prize, so it might jackpot to next week if he doesn't get on there soon and tell me he's there. I'm just waiting for Harry to turn up, but I think while I'm waiting for Harry to turn up, I think the question will be Bo Everly's question earlier on about after doing the ABT double header. So, Bo, what you need to do is you need to write in the comments that you're on and ready to go, so Harry can choose your name out of the box. If you want to upgrade and take the lucky box here, that'll be your choice. So we're just waiting on Bo to jump on and tell us that he's still on there and he wants to win Harry's prize. And I'm waiting for Harry to turn up and giving Kev a bit of a breather. So for everyone that doesn't or has been out there and doesn't know what's going on, Bo's there. That's the boat there, the Alloycraft J455. That's the package that Kev's just learnt that he is going to be driving around in as the brand ambassador. So we're looking forward to when Bill's boat arrives and we do all the changeovers that Brad will get some photos of that changeover. So that's the boat. All right, so I'm going to put that back in the side there. Bo's here. He's here. He wants you to choose something, so that's all cool. How you going, mate?
I'm going good.
Bit of interesting news there. Kev's going to step up. Pretty happy about that. Very happy about that. Come in so everyone can see you. Everyone was earlier on saying good day to you and
yeah,
whatnot.
I said hello at the start.
Yeah. So obviously the hair straightening didn't work for people that follow me on Facebook, but Bo is there and he's here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a prize out of there, and we'll find out what he's going to win, and then he gets a choice to either take what Harry's picked out of there or what's in the lucky box. So grab one out, Harry, and we'll have a look. Danny's already saying take the box, so let's get one out. All right, let's have a look. Don't show them. Yeah. All right. So, Bo, you need to tell me whether you want to take Harry's prize. You've got to comment in the comments, Harry's prize, or you want to take what's in the box. So what Harry's drawn out, or take what's in the box. We're just waiting on you to tell us which one you want to do, Bo. So if you can jump on, wait for the comments, obviously, bring on the box. All right. So we've actually got in the box, I've actually got to get it from around there because it's not actually in the box, but go and grab the Bluefin Fishing Team shirt. So for the first time ever, just a shirt, mate. Yep. For the first time ever, somebody has chosen what's in the box, and we actually forgot to put it in there. So if you have a look here, it is one of our Bluefin Fishing Team shirts with all the Bluefin Fishing Team sponsors on it. So, Bo, that is now your shirt, which was supposed to be in the box, but I forgot to put it in there before the show. I've been all excited about Kev's news. So you need to send me your details through to Facebook, through to my page, and I will post that out to you, mate. So that was my fault for not putting it in the box. But that's a Bluefin Fishing Team. It's not one of our – it's exactly the same as our staff shirts, but you see the difference is that it's actually got the BFFT on the back. All right.
Right.
Yep, that goes over here. That's all good for next week. Thanks, Harry. Say goodbye to everyone. We better get back to Kev and see if he's picked up his word.
Open on our
all right, excellent. Thank you very much, mate. You've got no school tomorrow because of COVID.
Because a lot of teachers, because they probably have COVID.
Yeah, because there's not enough teachers, so Harry's having the day off school tomorrow. All right, so as I said, we try and normally go for an hour. I am going to a comp tomorrow. I do want to finish off. There was some really cool comments in there that I'll go through later on, but I need to get the man back and see if he's actually picked his jaw up off the ground, and we'll bring him back on.
It's still on the ground. Yeah, it's still on the ground. I still can't believe it.
It's pretty cool.
It is nuts. Thought you and I were going fishing together over the next 4 months. He said, "Yeah, I'll come down, meet you, and we'll go together on your boat." Well, now you can come.
Yeah, well, as I said, we've still Bill's got to obviously finish his time out with the boat.
Yeah.
But we will be as soon as that's available, we'll hand that over and get you into your own boat for your own use for the next run of the brand ambassador. So that is. Wow. Exactly what the program was set out to do, was actually reward people for, what they're supposed to do. And you've done a tremendous job. And I hope it's a good incentive for the younger boys that have just joined the group, that if they put in the work, the rewards are there later on. Bill's got his rewards from the system as well. So, he's stepping up into the big boys boat now, and the pressure's all on Bill to perform. But not to say that he hasn't performed in the little boat. He finished top 10 AOI last year, and probably be able to do the same again this year in the little boat.
He got a 7th or a 6th, didn't he, the last round?
Yep. So everyone in the group is doing great guns, but I can't stress it enough that we looked at running the program again, but we couldn't go outside the group with the work that you've done. So it is really appreciated, man. I don't want to waffle on too much about it, but I'll give you a couple of minutes to say anything that you want to say, and we'll probably close it off, and I'll talk to you after the show more in details, because there's a heap of nice comments and whatnot in there. But I'll give you the last couple of minutes to say whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Brad, first of all, obviously you are the captain of captains. You obviously, Corey's the captain, but there's one above. Mate, I can't believe it. I still can't. I thank you so much. All I wanted to do was help grow this group and get this to another level, because I think what you and Corey have put together is fantastic. We need to help more, lower end, I can't even call you lower end, amateur anglers take that next step and join, as Corey just said, the big boys, get involved and get into it. This sport needs to grow. I just can't thank you enough. It's I said my jaw is still on the ground. I don't know what to say. Corey, mate, you've been an amazing mentor, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to go. This is only the beginning, so up even bigger from here. Now I'm just going to definitely have to find more time. I might have to have the odd sick day, divorce the wife, and leave the horses maybe. So if anyone's got a house that they're willing to rent me close to water, feel free to write in the comments, please. And who's coming fishing? He's coming out.
Oh, I was waiting for the sense of you to come back. I love it. I really do. This is more than a G up. Obviously, we had this plan for a long time, but we were waiting for the right opportunity. But I did want to get you on for your wealth of knowledge over the Cowboater. I think we answered a lot of questions tonight, a lot of cool questions. And we did want to release that we are doing the ladies Alloycraft Brand Ambassadors program throughout the year. And this is the kind of thing that can happen to you if you're a lady out there looking to get into the sport of fishing, or, content creator. Jump on and join the Alloycraft Brand Ambassadors group on Facebook, so you can watch what's happening. And anything's possible. So, Kev, you'll have to jump in and have a bit of a comment there later on with all the people that have commented for you. Thanks everyone for the questions. We will be back next week with another round of Chewing the Fat with the Cap. I'll have some details on what happened at the Central Victorian Lurecasters Super Series this weekend. I'll try and do some live crosses and do some information from there on my Facebook page, Corey's Damn Fishing. But until next week, that is an hour. We try and keep it to an hour. And it looks like the new time slot is going well, because we had another huge viewing tonight. Kev, we'll say out for now. You stay on the line. I will talk to you off air. And thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thanks for tuning in.